says I'm going live, but you and I both know together that it is already live. So, hey, I want to thank you for checking out the Lore Reloaded channel. Check me out at twitter.com/Lore Reloaded and twitch.tv/Lore Reloaded. Got some fun stuff coming there with a couple of Star Trek channels you guys are going to want to see. With that out of the way, we're going to give it a couple seconds, see if anybody wants to join. And if they do, great. We're going to take a look at a couple of things. If not, it's going to be an early night, and I get to go home and I get to go home. I am home. I get to go to sleep early, is what that means. Sorry I haven't been doing this regularly. I have not been feeling the best, so that's kind of why these dropped off for a little bit. But I'm coming out of that, thank God, and hopefully it'll be a lot more of these and a lot more entertaining. What is going on? Johnny Dell, hope you are doing well. What's up, David Peters? Charles Ryan Lee up in the house. Going to give it a little bit while longer, and then we're just going to get started. This is, for those who don't know, we're going to be taking a look at the preamble to the Romulan War. It's going to be a kind of a taste, a teaser, just a little nugget of what we're going to see in the Romulan War, the movie fan film that's going to be coming out. Really excited about that. We got Josh Street up in the house. Yeah, Anti-Checker, I know he just went offline, I believe. So I noticed that he was wrapping it up, so I decided to wait for him to get done before I continued on. You know how that goes. Of course, we got Johnny Doe, Vile Mike, Jeff Franklin. I hope you're doing well. I don't know. Oh, yeah, I have been sick. I was... had quite a bit going on. It was just disgusting and unfortunate. So I wish we could have seen 3 more seasons of Star Trek Enterprise. A lot of people do. I think they were going to try to get into the Romulan War. At least it seemed like it. But you never know. What's funny is, what's really interesting is that I'm wondering if they just did the Coalition of Planets because they knew it was ending. Sorry, I was trying to read and talk at the same time. Don't ever do that. And that's why that actually came out. But it would have been interesting if they had done the Coalition of Planets and went somewhere with it, went into the Romulan War or something of that nature, Enterprise had gotten a lot better after, well, the Xindi War, honestly, I think showed an improvement. Even their numbers were going up. I mean, they got stupid at the end of it with the Nazi stuff, but I don't know. I have a touch of a cold. Started last night. Yeah, I understand how that's going, man. Definitively. All right, so you guys about ready? I am feeling a little bit better. I look forward to more War Canoe. It's going to be every other Friday. Also, along with the War Canoe, for those who don't know, the War Canoe podcast will be live on this channel, for the moment at least. It's me and Kat Walski. It is every other Friday, meaning that it will be on the 22nd. Additionally, starting a week from tomorrow, I will be doing a live stream with Jesse Gender, Kat Walski, and Lore Runner, and we will be doing Star Trek Adventures. So I'm really looking forward to that. All right, guys. I thought the title said Romulan Rumble. It may have. Maybe I changed it. Maybe I did. Yeah, they completely rewrote the last season after they were canceled. The Coalition planets should have been formed during the Romulan War, not as an afterthought to the end of the season. I think the Coalition of planets coming together during or before the Romulan War makes sense. I don't see why they wouldn't have done that. And I think it would have been, I think it's very in character for them to have the Romulans to try to break it up. I really do. All right, so we're about to watch this. We're not going to watch all of it because you're going to have to go to their channel to watch the end of it. It is right here, though. You guys should check it out. One thing I would like to do before we get this started is for everyone, or at least up to 10 people, to click on the link I just shared, go in the comments and say, "We can't wait for the Romulan War. Lore Reloaded says hi," or something to that. And once we get 10, we'll start watching this and we'll enjoy it, and we'll just have just the most fun. Just the most. Fearless, they are going to be filming the next installment in a couple of months. You can get the news by subscribing to their channel. Are we talking about the preamble? Yeah, just subscribe to their channel for sure. They're good people. I actually talked to Mark. Me and him went and ate, and we'll be eating in a couple of weeks, going back to lunch. Good guy. J.R. Chadwick helping out the channels. You guys know the only way to keep this place running is through support from Super Chats and people like you. The Romulans basically created their biggest rivals. I love it. Yeah. I do enjoy that story because the way the Romulans are written, the more they try to stop or to inhibit the Federation, the stronger it becomes. I think there's an argument for, well, I don't think there's an argument. It actually formed because of them. And then as they continued on, the more they tried to work with it, the more they failed to varying degrees, which I honestly think is a fun story of all. It's been a long while. I was looking forward to more. What are we talking about, the Fearless Few? What's going on, buddy? What are you talking about? Oh, by the way, we got 33 people watching this, only 5 likes. Hit that like button. Don't be scared of it. The like button is more scared of you than you are of it. More scared of you than you are of it. March 23, helping out the channel. Cheers. Take my money, my dude. Love your vid. Well, my vids love you, March. My vids love you. All right, guys. Let me know when you've left a comment. Once I got a couple of comments here, again, we will be getting this started. I think I shared the right one with you. It should have been this one. If it isn't, let me know. I hope it is. Did I go the right one? Hold on. Hopefully it is. I don't know. Because I'm not seeing the new comments just yet. I got to see the comments, people. We got to see the comments. In an alternate timeline without the Federation, the Romulans would have spread to Alpha Centauri. Yeah, it would have been interesting. Without the Federation, breaking it down, you would have basically had the Klingons versus the Romulans. I think the Klingons would have ultimately won out. I sincerely do. See, I'm looking, but I don't see them. So you guys went to that website. Maybe they have it where they have to approve the comments. I don't know. All right. You guys ready? We're gonna watch it. We're gonna get this party started. Here we go. Boom, 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 boom. Let me do a refresh real quick. See if we can see it. Nope. Okay. Here we go. I don't think, what about the Cardassians? When it comes to the Cardassians, I don't think they would have had a massive impact. They've always been a regional power in the area and very few resources. They probably would have went to war with the Romulans and been consumed by them, if I had to guess. All right. We're not watching all of this again. We're just going to watch a little bit of it. You guys got to stay to see the very end. All right. Let's do a test to make sure that you guys can hear it too. How's that sound coming through versus mine? Dun, 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 dun. Ba, ba, da, da, da. All right, let me know how that sound is. Gave it just a quick second. Everybody's got popcorn. By the way, if you're watching this, don't forget to hit that like button. If you're enjoying what you're seeing on screen while we're watching it, definitely go over to that channel and subscribe. Tell them I said, hey, put it in there. Put it in there. Let them know I said, hey. I can't eat popcorn because it's 1 a.m. You can always eat popcorn. It is always a great time. Do you think the Ferengi would have been wiped out by the Klingons with no Federation? I don't. I think they would have found a way to get away from it. I think they could have talked the Klingons. And I do think they would have submitted. I think they would have willingly submitted to the Klingons. I honest to God do. By the way, on that topic, and then we're going to start it. Those who watch Anti-Trekker, is it because of his latest video that he's getting a ton of subscribers? I mean, I think it's awesome. He deserves it. But I noticed that. Me and him haven't been able to really hang out or talk or anything because we've been going in separate circles. But I was curious about that. All right. Here we go. And I'll get some catnip epics 2000. I'll get some catnip.
In 2154, a planet-killing weapon created by the Xindi attempted to destroy Earth. The attack was thwarted by Starfleet Captain Jonathan Archer.
2154. A planet-killing weapon created by the Xindi attempted to destroy Earth. The attack was thwarted by Starfleet Captain Jonathan Archer. 2154. A planet-killing weapon created by the Xindi attempted to destroy Earth. The attack was thwarted by Starfleet Captain Jonathan Archer. The Age of Archer. That decade, from 2150 to 2160, is quite possibly the single most important 10 years in the history of the Federation.
All right, I am going to stop it ever so often. Just to let you guys know, I think some of these specific CGI stuff, not what you saw before, but like Memory Alpha, was done by Trek Yards, was done by Samuel.
Maybe even for human civilization. The technological breakthroughs alone are astonishing. In one decade, humans perfected the transporter, the universal translator, the Warp 5 engine, then Warp 7, shields, phasers. And take a look at all the first contacts that happened during that time period. Captain Archer's original 4-year mission alone brought Earth into contact with the Rigelians, the Corridans, the Tellarites, the Axanar. There's about 24 more on that list, many of whom are members of the Federation to this day. It was an age of political and cultural revolution as well. On Vulcan, there was the discovery of the Kir'Shara, which led to the overthrow of the Vulcan High Command and the rise of the Cyrenite Reparation Movement. There was the reunification between the Andorians and the Enar. Even Archer's dealings with the Klingons created shifts in their political and legal systems. That's a lot of change for such a short period of time. This did not go unnoticed by the Romulan Star Empire, and it had the Romulans concerned.
The Councillor had been observing the humans' movements for some.
Sorry, I'll replace it in just a second. One of the things I do enjoy is how they're bringing everything together and trying to use the canon that we saw beforehand. I also find this funny. Deep Space Nine, Federation Starbase. After hearing what Ira in the background, the documentary, was thinking, or where he was going with that he didn't want DS9, or that Bajor never joined, and so they have it a Federation Starbase here, which is fine. I just think that's interesting. I would have made it a Starbase too. By the time this was made, that documentary hadn't come out yet, and honestly, the presumption by almost everybody was that Bajor joined. So I just think that's interesting.
Yeah, had been observing the humans' movements for some time. The belief was that Earth used peacemaking and diplomacy as a cover for their true objective, an expansionist agenda that was a threat to Romulan sovereignty. You must understand that in this time period, some 250 years ago, Romulans did not understand the concept of space exploration for exploration's sake, or diplomacy for diplomacy's sake.
SC, we've been sharing it. This is a fan film that's coming out. It is done by a friend of mine by the name of Mark. Give me a second here. Let me get that link for you. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Let me get that link to share with you real quick. Nope. Really? Give me a second, guys. I'm sorry. Here it is. No wonder that wasn't working, though. That's weird that's doing that. All right. Hold on. There you go. Check it out. Comment. Tell them I said hi.
Science, pure diplomacy. These were alien concepts to a conquering empire, and it aroused much suspicion among the political class.
For in the words of the poets, the seekers shall be unsundered, and all shall dwell in the shadow of the raptor's wing.
With the Praetor eager for diversion, and Admiral Valdor's dire warnings of a rising threat on our border, the continuing committee authorized military operations against Earth and its allies.
It would take several months for Valdor to complete his battle plan, and for the Romulans to fully deploy their fleet. But the Praetor refuses to wait and orders a ghastly attack, one of the most brutal war crimes ever recorded. Corridon 3, home to over 5 billion sentients and the largest single source of dilithium ore in 8 sectors. With the Corridons finally overcoming decades of civil war, the unified government celebrates its new era of domestic peace with a commitment to join a new coalition of planets. It's a celebration that's about to be brought to a sudden and devastating halt, courtesy of the Imperial warship Bloody Talon.
It is with heavy pride that I task this mighty ship and her crew to fly this one final mission, one which will bring honor and victory to all who march beneath the Raptor's wings.
In a matter of minutes, the region's largest supply of dilithium, crucial to faster-than-light travel, is gone. The real tragedy on Corridon, however, is the death of over 2 billion people, nearly half the planet's population.
Corridon's society, its culture.
All right. And so that's towards the end of it. That is not the end, but I'm not going to do all of it because I actually want you guys to go and look after this and watch the end of it. Or actually just watch it all the way through because it's definitely worth looking into. Again, these guys, what they're doing is breaking down the Romulan War the way they saw it. It's something that I think a lot of people have wanted and a lot of people want to see. And so it's definitely something I would suggest you guys check out and subscribe to their channel. Let them know that I sent you and said hi. 74 people watching. Don't forget to hit that like button. It's more scared of you than you are of it. But overall, I think it's honestly a good take on it. I've seen more than what you guys see there. And again, I've talked to Mark. I think they have a really good place that they're going with it. The only thing I would say is as you guys can kind of see there, it's not, I think the quality is really good, but it's obviously not like CBS, Paramount. They don't have millions of dollars behind them. But the story more than makes up for it, at least in my opinion. And they'll be coming out with the movie, at least part 1, I believe before the end of the year. I'll probably be doing some lore breakdowns on it. I'll also be doing some, probably interviews. I'll have Mark on. We'll have some discussions. I really think it is. Just from what I've seen, they are using the docu-film format like they did in Axanar. My understanding, and I don't know because I wasn't there to observe all of it, but my understanding is they had the idea first. It's just Axanar got it out before they did. I see a potential mistake. The Romulans didn't have D7 style cruisers until the episode where Kirk pretended to go insane. So there's a couple things that, because I see that coming up a couple of times. So let's go ahead and break that down and discuss it. The Romulans so there's a couple of things to it. First off, that isn't the actual D7. That is a modified version of it. If they wanted to use the D7, they probably could have done it. They'd just have Samuel make them one so they don't get, so they have less of a chance of getting hit with a copyright strike. However, they opted not to use the D7 that we see during Kirk's time in the original series. It's possible that this was a stepping stone there. There's some debate on where the D7 and how the D7 came about. So I would agree that we didn't see it until that point. But again, we don't know how long that alliance had been going on either. There is a chance that it's just an issue, a continuity gaffe, which, is what it is, right? And yeah, we don't know when the Romulans technically got the D7. So I don't know. If it's a continuity gaffe, it's not like that Star Trek isn't known for that, right? J.R. Chadwick helping out the channel. It looks like it's going to take place in the 22nd century, but I saw ships from the 23rd century. We're actually just talking about that, J.R. Chadwick. You saw the D7. These could also be models that were starting in the beginning or predecessors to what we'd ultimately see. They are consistent with some of the models that were seen in Enterprise as well. So, I don't know. I'm surprised to see footage from Enterprise in this video. Yeah, they used some of the original Enterprise shows and such. That was something Mark and I discussed. I know that CBS gets pretty upset and pretty finicky about its stuff being used. But he wanted to use it, and it fits in, so... Blasphemy Trex canon is granite. It is. It is. I actually have not seen the 3 timelines by Anti-Tracker, so I can't speak to that. I have been sick and busy doing my own stuff, so can't really speak to that right now, if I'm being honest with you. Perhaps they'll explain it in the full doc. Yeah, they may. The docu-movie, it is going to be a documentary, so that is something that you guys will have to be okay with. Axanar got it out first, but my understanding was they did the idea first. I honestly don't know. I'll be quite frank with you. I have no idea when it comes to that. 14K Liam, I am doing better. I'm feeling a lot better than I was. How you doing? How you doing, sir? It's an unavoidable gaffe. They need more ships, but don't have the money to design new ones. Yeah. Plus, I mean, I wouldn't really want to go through and design all of that just to be told that I couldn't do it, or to have CBS come down on me. That was one of the problems I think happened with Axanar, and I can understand why no one wants to get into that fight. I actually have already started. Are you going to do more Borg lore when Star Trek Picard comes out? Yeah. I honestly am not. I'm honestly already started putting together some ideas for my own fan film. I press F for three shirts. I hate you, Max. I have a couple of ideas, and I'm not sure what I'm going to go with. Whether it's just going to, if I'm going to do just the usual movies that you see, kind of like the other short films, or maybe do like a Bandersnatch or a Choose Your Own Adventure. I have an idea for a Choose Your Own Adventure where you are the Starfleet officer. I'm going to do it on YouTube, and I think I can do it. I think I figured it out, but I'm just not sure. Sant Gliso, every cent counts. Thank you so much. Yeah, as you said, and you know, guys, the only way I keep the lights on is through support from people like you. So it is definitely keeping the lights on, as it were. So thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate, anything you guys can give. But beyond that, we can continue talking about the Romulan Preamble watch party, or we can discuss what you guys would want to see in a Romulan war, or we can move it on to whatever you guys like. I am going to make an attempt to be here for about an hour. Then I'm probably going to try to work on a video for tomorrow. I got a long day tomorrow, unfortunately. At your earliest opportunity, watch his triple timeline video. I mean, I'll take a look at it. I tell you, I am completely jealous of his editor. I wish I was that good of an editor. I think his editor does a fantastic job. A Choose Your Own Adventure? You mean like episode 9? I don't know what episode 9 is. I know I was watching Bandersnatch or whatever that's called, the Black Mirror one, and it gave me the idea. And it would be easy for me to calibrate what I'd already been working on. So, because as you guys know, I actually go to school for this stuff these days. I'm watching DS9 right now. I forgot what a whiner Esri was. Was she? New video. What dis? What are you talking about, Snowflakes Monsoon? What? Where are you going with this, sir? I hope your story has a female protagonist and is very woke. If I go the Black Mirror route, you won't actually technically see the protagonist. You'll be the protagonist. So the protagonist will be anybody you want it to be. Maybe it's someone non-binary. It doesn't have female or male. There you go. See? Already beating the system. Any Star Trek Discovery Season 3 lore? Just wondering. There's no Season 3 things coming out that I'm aware of. I broke down everything we have so far. I'll probably do that again. I think a documentary is better when it comes to Star Trek fan films than an action movie, in my opinion. I agree. I think Axanar did excellent with it. I think they pioneered it. And I think that is the way to go. I think it's a lot easier. Hey, buddy. He's not feeling that good. I think that is the way to go. Isn't that cat the same as Data's? It may be. It may just be. I think I remember those old Choose Your Own Adventure books. Yeah, they were fun. I enjoyed it. I'm a huge fan of Telltale. I really like Telltale's work, and if I could mimic it, I would absolutely, without hesitation. 69 people watching, only 37 likes. What the hell is wrong with you? By the way, guys, if you're watching this, a couple of new things coming up. As I said, the hell is it called? The War Canoe. How did I forget that name? War Canoe. I'm the one that came up with it. War Canoe podcast will be going on the 22nd. You guys should definitely be there. And I will be doing a Star Trek Adventures role-playing game with lore runner Jesse Gender and Ketwalski, as well as probably someone else. I don't know. Definitely check it out at twitch.tv/lore reloaded. May do one of them here. Do you think Star Trek is permanently stuck in an action-heavy style? J.R. Chadwick, I do. Again, thank you so much for the support. I definitely think it is. I think that that's the only thing people want right now. I think the audience responds to action-heavy style writing. I think it's, well, let me rephrase this. I think it's easy. I think it's the quickest way. It's the sure thing. And I think anything else is not going to be that way. And so that's probably where they're going to be going with it. And I think they're going to keep that. And I don't blame them. If you're in Hollywood or you're, making TV series, you have to do what is going to most likely make money. And so I understand. Do you think Daniels will be in Star Trek Discovery Season 3? I don't know. Oh, which system for the RPG? We'll be doing Star Trek Adventures. Dig the War Canoe graphic. Was it Beavis and Butthead influence? Yeah, it was. SC, it was. Feel free to unsubscribe and never come back to my channel. Yeah, it'll be Star Trek Adventures. I'd love to see the civil war between Vulcans and Romulans. That'd be a really cool fan movie to me. I don't think there... Well, there was a civil war, but it was very archaic and a lot of like nukes and stuff. I don't know. Beyond the Romulan War, I'm about done with prequels. I want to see DS9 era at the worst. We'll put it that way. There's just not a lot of stuff that focuses on the DS9 era, and that is just unfortunate to me. Yes, I was just kidding with you, buddy. Will you do a dedicated video on the premise and element of your RPG, like an in-universe breakdown, maybe having cameos from other ideas you received? I don't hate that. I just don't know how popular it would be. It does kind of seem like a fun idea. I don't know. Not hating, bro. I loved BMB. Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I was just giving you a hard time, SC. You know that. You know that, baby. I love you, baby. Yeah, no more prequel. I'm about done with prequels. I don't even want to watch Star Trek Discovery. Well, it's not that I don't want to watch Star Trek Discovery. It's just I'm tired of prequels, and Star Trek Discovery it's still a prequel. You took people who were pre-Kirk and just put them in the future. So it's technically still using prequel stuff. What do you think of future Trek since the merger? I think it'll continue to be what it has right now. What kind of character will you be creating? Will you publish your character stats on the channel? I'm not making a character. I'm actually being the GM. But if you guys are interested, depending on how much interest this RPG gets and how many people watch and what you guys contribute, I will... I'll put as much lore into it as interest comes to it, if that makes any sense. On Star Trek Lower Decks, I have been on the fence when it comes to Star Trek Lower Decks, and I kind of discussed this to a degree. My problem with Star Trek Lower Decks is I think it does go against what they were trying to do when it comes to Star Trek overall, and I think it's probably about as big a betrayal to Gene as anything else. And the reason is that Star Trek Lower Decks they pitched it as like not the worst crew, but the forgettable crew on forgettable ships. And it's the secondary missions, not the first contact, but the second contact, and people who aren't as important. And it's run off as a comedy. And my problem with that is that this was supposed to be the best of the best. It was supposed to be showing humanity at its best, going up against trials and tribulations, right? And I'm having trouble coming together with that. So I don't know. I'm open to the conversation, but I don't know. I wanted to see more lore on the Third World War and the Eugenics War, but not a movie. There's not a lot on it. How do you feel about a story arc about the Iconians? They could do something with it. I don't know. Star Trek should be a show that uses sci-fi tropes to tell complex moral and ethical stories, to describe contemporary issues and tackle them in interesting ways, not pew pew bang bang stuff. The problem with that is that people don't want to watch that. It's not something that's really all that intriguing. If you can find me a show, and I'm not convinced that you can, if you can find me a show that fits what you just described, I would say it's an outlier. Orville, which is considered like Star Trek or the new Star Trek, or the replacement for Star Trek, even has action itself. It's not cerebral, and I just don't think you can have cerebral. How about a Borg invasion on DS9? You can talk about the story off how Cisco deals with it and how they fight back and who dies. Here's my thing, and I've discussed this before. I think they really missed the opportunity to have a great DS9 TNG matchup with that. I really do. I think that you should have had Cisco as a part of First Contact. I honest to God. To pretend that Starfleet is nothing but 100% perfection is a bit short-sighted of you and Roddenberry. I didn't say that. SC, I mean, do your strawmans generally come with hats, man? Because I really like hats. For me, it's fedoras. So if you can do that, if you can just do a fedora, I'd appreciate that if you could. So I didn't say they 100% perfection, but they're supposed to be the most evolved, and it's supposed to be an upbeat story about how humanity has risen to the top and is more than the sum of its parts. And so I don't think that's a bad thing to tell. We got Trek Yards, as always, the illustrious Sam from Trek Yards, who, as I even said when we were watching it, put most of the CGI, if not all of the CGI, together. It's a Stormbird class, you say. Is that something that the good folks can look up, or is there a website that they can go to? If so, you're not going to be able to share it. But what you can do is you can send it to me, james@lorereloaded.com. Looks like they have something here. I see it on the Romulan War thing. If there's a Trek Yards equivalent, then let me know. But yeah, that's actually what we were talking about before. That it was a model that was before it, and that we didn't have any evidence that they wouldn't have had something like that. So I think that makes sense. Isn't the Stormbird class from Starfleet Battles or Fossa Trek? It's possible, Charles. The thing about it is that they use a lot of the canon, but I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled it from other areas as well, or other situations. So the D5 came first, but it's very different. The Stormbird is its own thing. Yeah, we have a Trek Yards episode on the Stormbird. What? I did not find that, good sir. I did not find it at all. And it wouldn't have been on there because you can't share websites. Trek Yards, Stormbird. There it is. Yeah, I think I've actually watched this one. Boom. There it is from the Trek Yards website. Definitely check it out. Also, do you think there's enough lore for the Mirror Universe to do a TV show? I do think we have enough lore for a Mirror Universe. And I think it'd be interesting to see, but again, that would be so not Star Trek. I don't know that people would watch it, maybe. If you wanted to do an expanse version of Star Trek, that's how you would do it. You would do it in the Mirror Universe. It's a Romulan design that was the main big assault ship in the Romulan War. The Klingons saw this war go on and saw how effective this arrangement of parts was. They then took cues for it to make it. Okay. And it was designed by the good old Samuel of Trek Yards a long, long time ago. And you guys now have the videos that you can go. So you definitely need to watch that after this. Not during, but after. Good sirs. After. Lore NX-01 versus the Delta Quadrant. The NX-01 would be destroyed if it went into the Delta Quadrant. There's no way that thing could survive at any point at all. No, it wouldn't. No. Star Trek hit a Star Trek hit a creative, I'm guessing you're saying creativity. Star Trek hit a creativity wall by Voyager. TNG explored the Alpha and Beta quadrant, but left it mostly unexplored. But DS9 and Voyager turned the Gamma and Delta quadrant to big zones for monolithic enemies and little more. How big is the D6? Don't know how big the D6 is. Schneeflock Monsoon, I think it brings up an interesting conversation. And I think there's a little bit more to it than just that. When you look at the Delta and the Gamma quadrants, when you're looking at the Gamma and Delta quadrants, you can really see what happens when you don't have a Starfleet. The Starfleet and the Federation, more than Starfleet. The Federation is more a balancer or an equalizer. It generally keeps everybody in their own corner. But without such a entity in the Delta and Gamma quadrant, you have massive broken chaos on both sides. Well, at least in the Delta quadrant. But in both the Delta and in the Gamma quadrant, you have two monolithic empires that ultimately are evil. And I think that's kind of an interesting way. And so when you're doing lore breakdown for Temporal Anomaly, and then my counter to them, as I thought before Christmas, I'd love to jump. Yeah, I need to do that, man. I'm sorry. It hasn't been on purpose. I promise you that. But yeah, we need to break down Temporal Anomaly. We should do a watch party for Temporal Anomalies is what we need to do. Do you think they will ever use the Enterprise NCC 1701J? No, I don't think. I doubt it. I'd be surprised. I think something like the Discovery short treks might be good for the Mirror Universe. I'd be interested in a full-on show, but I don't know if people would watch it, if I'm being honest. Yeah, Trek Yards. Also, Trek Yards. Yeah, we got to get you on and talk, man. I'm not against that. Have your people contact my people, or just whenever you want to do it, let me know. Definitely, if you also want to discuss the Stormbird or some of the ships here, because again, I stated that at the beginning. I don't know if you were here for the entire thing, but the CGI, all the CGI, or most all of it, was done by you. So the Federation is not meant to be the galaxy's police, and yet they are, Charles Ryan Lee, and yet they are. Trek Yard, you're not allowed to go to sleep, buddy. Sam, you're not allowed to go to sleep. You got to stay on forever now. Do you think the trial of humanity will continue into Star Trek Picard? I would love to see Q again. I honestly would. I don't think we have evidence. I don't think we have evidence that Q's in it. I know Ketwalski has been kind of, look at this. I simply don't think so. I could be wrong. The Romulan War Part 1 has over 110 VFX shots in it, created by me. Well, yeah, dude, you do awesome work. I don't think anyone's ever contested that. Yeah, Sam, go ahead and send me an email again, or message me on Twitter or whatever, and maybe we can get that working. Oh, buddy. I'm sorry. They think he has a cold. He's not been feeling good. I'm sorry, buddy. But yeah, it's overall good. Definitely get back. Laura, civilians like Neelix can survive. Why not Archer? Because Archer's an idiot and he's a bigot and he gets a lot of people killed and he thinks he knows everything and he makes wrong decisions. Archer is just like a couple of steps above Wesley when it comes to decision making. How would they explain Q Delancey aging? So I've discussed this before. And here's an interesting thing that I think would be kind of cool to put in there. I think that if they have Q, they shouldn't use de-aging technology or anything like that at all. I think Q should come in and should be how he looks now, older and stuff. And then he should get called on it, and he should point out, saying that he is that he's just trying to make Picard feel better about his life or something. How cool would that be? I think that'd be real fun. Star Trek Enterprise Season 5 would be cool. They're not going to go back to Season 5. J.R. Chadwick, that's a little harsh. I don't know what you're talking about, good sir. Though I am always harsh. So, I mean, there's that. Yeah, I mean, Trek Yards, I don't know if you answered this or not, but Trek Yards actually is self-taught, which I think is awesome, man. I have tried to do some animation, and it's just, ugh. I found it interesting that at the start of Voyager, most races they encounter weren't as advanced, but after going through Borg space and getting closer, the Alpha Quadrant, they were more advanced. Well, you know, here's the thing with that. I don't necessarily have a huge issue, because the closer you get to, oh, my condemnation of Archer, the closer you get to the Borg, the more advanced you have to be, or you're just going to get swallowed up. And I think that once you get past the Borg, you're getting closer to the Alpha Quadrant, so it just makes sense. Anything like the Kazon just couldn't exist in those areas, you know? I don't know. What's up, buddy? I'm sorry you don't feel well. I just feel they expanded too fast. Voyager could have been shot to the edge of the Alpha Quadrant and still had a long ride, and the Dominion could have been smaller, leaving more room for exploration. I disagree. I think the Dominion stuff was definitely spot on. That is where they needed to go. That really made that series. When it comes to them getting shot to the edge of the Alpha Quadrant, I mean, yeah, you could have done that. There was talks, though they never went through with it. Yeah, hi, what are we doing? Stay right there. You're not feeling good, buddy. Stay right there. Just relax, okay? Go to sleep. There were talks of bringing them home and having it done. I think that would have been a mistake. I know Lore Runner disagrees with me, but I think that would have been a mistake. Having primitive technology is a good way to keep the Borg from assimilating you. That was a change in the Borg. The Borg were never like that at the beginning. Let me know if you got my email. Not yet. James@lorereloaded.com. There it is. Yeah, I got it, man. So we'll definitely do that. The film is now the top 10 most viewed Trek fan films on YouTube, so I'm very proud. That's cool, dude. You should be proud of it. It's a good video, dude. And next time you're in Canada, let me know. I'll make a special trip so we can meet. I don't know what I was talking about. Oh, Voyager could have been closer, I guess. I don't know. Oh, the Borg. Yes, the Borg originally wanted to assimilate everyone and bring perfection to the universe. They were so primitive that we wouldn't assimilate them is something added by Voyager and was never the original intent. Yeah, where were the Organians during the Dominion War? The same place, the whatever of time, that rock that could do time. Same place as them. Kind of off topic, but what are your short thoughts on Space Dock's Sojourner? I really like it, and I want to do some breakdowns of it. I've tried to talk to Space Dock, but they don't respond to me anymore. I don't know. Probably because everyone thinks I'm a Nazi. Great. You have a great rest of the live. Good night, everyone. Night. Talk to you, Samuel. Talk to you later, buddy. I mean, the size of the Dominion, the arc was perfect, but if the Gamma Quadrant is just Dominion homeland now, not a new area to explore, it would be interesting if after the war they could justify a breakup of the they could explore a breakup of the Dominion. I don't know how you would do that because I don't think there's any good reason for it to occur, but or Dominion Civil War that Starfleet gets embroiled in. That could be intriguing. We got the one, the only, the Romulan War. What is going on? Hey man, as I told you in the email, I sent them to your channel. We didn't watch all of it, so they have to go to watch all of it. But I believe that's probably Mark from the Romulan War. If you haven't been to his channel, definitely check it out and subscribe. He does good work. Really excited to see what's coming from it, though. So yeah. Oh, and if you guys have any questions for Mark, I can try to get you on right now, man, but I think since it's last minute, that might not be the best idea. We can do it a little bit later. But definitely while he's here, if you guys want to talk to the Romulan War, if you have any questions about the fan film, you guys should ask. It is coming out before the end of December. I know that for certain, good friends. And waiting for my computer to reload because I just did something stupid. Is there life in other galaxies at the Star Trek universe? We don't know if there's... We have no evidence of any other galaxies or anything. They've never really addressed it. I can tell you Andromeda was supposed to be like the next logical step, so I wouldn't be surprised if there were other galaxies, or at least that was the original intent by Gene. Say, did you look into my Kelvin timeline theory? Probably, Monsoon, but it's been a while, I can guarantee. So if you'll remind me of it. Do you think we'll see temporal Cold War in Star Trek Discovery Season 3? I don't. I don't think they're going to bring that up. We might see it in Section 31. I'd be extremely surprised. Of where they went with it. By the way, if you're still watching Mark or the Romulan War, we actually watched it. We kind of moved on a little bit. But how long is the finished film, and what sources are you using for it? Asked Charles Ryan Lee. So if you're still here, man, love to see the answer to that. It could be cool to see what is on the other side of the powers, like what is past Romulan space. I agree. The sources that I'm aware of, and if he's still here, he can answer, but the sources that I am aware of are the Enterprise, the original canon. The film will be in 2 parts, each of them between 15 and 20 minutes. I believe they're using the original canon and some from FOSSA, if I'm right. Let me know, the Romulan War. Anti-Tracker claims the Romulan Star Empire was only 2 planets, Romulus and Remus, in the original series episodes. Balance of Terror, what you think? I think that's wrong, and I don't think we have a lot of evidence of that. They already have the Romulan neutral zone, which clearly shows that there's a distinction and there's a lot of area and space between the two. So I don't think that it was only those 2 planets. He may be trying to say that they were colonized. I'm not sure I believe that either. I don't think we have... And you know what? I know it's not true. And I'll tell you why I know it's not true. The Enterprise, remind me, the NX-01 Enterprise ran into a planet that was owned by the Romulans. So we know they had more than 2, for sure, according to canon. The closest, that English gent helping out the channel, thank you so much, how I keep the lights on. The closest we came to another galaxy was when Kirk's Enterprise is taken over by aliens trying to get back home, which I think they got halfway there. Huh. That is an episode that happened, isn't it? Another question for, I'm assuming it's Mark. What was your inspiration to do this? And respect. And I'll wait for him to answer that. In the original series, by any other name, there are aliens from the Andromeda Galaxy that take over the Enterprise. Okay, well, then there you go. That's probably where you got the name Andromeda, too. What do you think happened to the time agents in the 32nd century? If nothing's left, they may have gotten killed. I don't know. The time agents could still be there, too. They could just not be interfering. I would be surprised by that. There's more evidence to prove that the time agents were basically Section 31 than not. But they may just be staying out of it. The planet we know that Romulans own is called Unruth 3, which is revealed in Minefield. Yeah, that's what I was speaking of, the Romulan War, which would be 3 planets, which would be Romulus, Remus, and Unruth 3, which would show they have more than just 1. Or more than just 2, I'm sorry. But the Romulan War, you were just asked by another person, what was the inspiration for the movie? Why did you bring it together? Enterprise episode Romulan planet was Cheiron, but was lost. Okay. It was Cheiron, but it was lost. I was inspired by old World War II documentaries, World at War, which I watched as a kid, and of course the original series. That's where the Romulan War came from. All the time agents are hanging out at the subspace Dunkin' Donuts. That is possible. That is exactly where they could be. Or it could be something where they just can't go there, or maybe they're working in the background. I mean, we don't know. We just don't have enough information. I wouldn't be surprised if they're still active there. I don't know. They always seemed they always were willing to work as long as it was for the betterment of the Federation, and weren't big on not. J. White Plume, thoughts on a series on pilots of Starfleet fighters. That would be one. It would be a very grim and sad existence. Where a lot of people are suicidal. Starfighters never do well when we see in the Star Trek universe. With the ability to pinpoint, hit your target, and the fact that phasers are powered from like the warp cores, it's just they get the hell beat out of them. Who do you think Future Guy was? I do think that there's a lot of evidence to show that Future Guy was Archer, and I think that would have been an interesting twist that they could have done something with. I'm heading to bed. Have a great day. Hope your kitty feels better. Thanks, Darth Raven. Yeah, he's just got to rest. And he doesn't want to. When he feels better, he runs around. And I'm like, dude, you need to rest. Am I going to have to drug you? The theory was the Federation was doomed to fail after the launch of the Enterprise C as Praxis exploded, and they met the Cardassians before Kirk and thus never had the Khitomer Accords. Okay. What if the time agents blew up Praxis? I think Section 31 did it, if you ask me. Are the Remans Romulans that evolved in the dark on the new planet? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. All right, guys, come on. We have the Mark, the man himself here. Do you guys have any other questions? I'll also be ending this very shortly. But do you guys have any other questions? Anything that we want to discuss, that we want to just bring to light? Future Guy equals Archer, just like Red Angel equals Burnham. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could put those together. I think you could write it better. Well, you could write both of those better. The Remans are Romulus's first colony. I think the Remans probably are a separate species, and they just took over by the Romulans. I think that was just bad luck. Super Being, I think that's Starfleet's HQ in Starfleet, not the Federation HQ. Well, as everyone knows, the Federation HQ is actually in the United States, in California. That's just fact. How go the nukes for the Romulan War? They do. I can tell you the Romulan War, they do have nukes in there. I think, and keep me honest here, Mark, but do you solely use nuclear weapons, or do you bring in a couple of the phasers as well? I wish they explored the Romulans' interest in Voyager more than they did, as Memory Alpha said they were interested. Well, did they say? The Romulans weren't all that interested in Voyager as much as they were the Prometheus. How do you reconcile the nuclear non-visual combat with Archer's timeline for the Romulan War? Have you guys taken a look at the different planets of the Romulan War? No, we haven't. I just did the preamble. I intend to do more on it later, but since the preamble launched tonight, that's all we focused on. Will the Romulans attack Earth and then be called back? Then the Federation attack like they did Pearl Harbor? Yeah, the Q could screw. Romulan War says re-nukes. Re-nukes. I think he's about to address that. By the way, if you guys are watching this, don't forget to hit that like button. 73 people watching, 52 likes. Don't be scared of that like button. More people like it, more people watch it, the more I want to do this. And we all know that I want to do this. Romulan War, talking about nukes when it comes to their movie specifically, the fan film. The Romulans used them first to terrorize and demoralize the humans. So I guess, if I understand where you're going with that, they had other weapons. They just wanted to use the most horrific. Because you could use better weapons to kill more people, but then, I don't know. But Earth loads up the leftovers from World War III and uses them to counterattack when it comes to humans using it. I like Surf Tectonic's explanation. They didn't have enough photonic torpedoes to arm all ships, so they used atomic spatial missiles. I like that. I think that's a good idea, too. SC, how do you guys get away with using Trek footage? Well, there's this little thing called fair use that they use. Though that's an interesting conversation, because I was thinking about that as I said that. I don't know. I don't think CBS is going to get onto him. That's something Mark and I talked about. I know, CBS gets real trigger happy, but I don't think that's going to be an issue. Lore Reloaded, I disagree. I think the Remans are Romulan subspecies as they had pointed ears like the Romulans and Vulcans. Well, the problem with that, 14K Liam, is there are a ton of species that have pointed ears that aren't Vulcans. So, I don't know. I just caught your comment on choose your own adventure you might create. What era would you set it in? It would be... So, for those who are just joining or haven't been here, I was talking about how I was looking at doing my own fan film. I was thinking of doing something via YouTube. And it would be a choose your own adventure. It'd be set during the Dominion War. J.R. Chadwick helping out the channel. Thank you so much. The spatial torpedoes seen in the first 2 seasons of Enterprise could have been nuclear. They were called photonic. So they were definitely trying to make them similar to photons. You do some bending. You could say that they were nuclear. I like the idea that maybe they just didn't have enough. The Romulan War, nukes are not good enough weapons in space, but are devastating inside an atmosphere. Primarily, nukes are used by both sides on ground targets. I think it wouldn't be beyond the scope of the Romulans to go full psychological warfare when engaged in full-scale war. I agree. That's actually where they were going with that. I saw your video about Operation Return, and I agree with you on the tactics, but I still appreciate the episode. However, I feel like I know how to make it better. Okay, well, how would you make it better, Justice Ag? Or if you want to do your own video, do a video on it. I'll pimp it if it's good. The Remans are based on the Nosferatu. Okay. There were never photonic weapons on Enterprise until season 3. I thought they were the first seasons. I thought season 1 and season 2 had photonic weapons. Maybe they didn't. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I'm getting tired. I am getting very tired, if I'm being honest with you, a good, gentle folk. Actually staying on just a little while longer, just because I want, the Romulan War to be able to interact with you guys. Mark, I should have invited you on, man, but it was last minute, so I hope you didn't take that too negatively. By the way, if you guys are watching this, definitely go and click on this and tell them that I said hi. And subscribe to the channel. They had spatial torpedoes that were almost useless. Okay, well, I stand corrected. I trust you guys. That's fine. If you say it was in season 3, it was in season 3. Love the return video. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you, Chet. And the return video loves you. Could the Xindi beat the Borg? No. Borg would have beat the hell out of them. I don't think the Xindi could at all. Could the Romulans warp through Earth to do major damage to the planet? Well, I mean, in the Romulan War, they actually warped to Corden, so I think that they could. Johnny Doe gave me a like. Thank you. I appreciate that, buddy. NX-01 left dry dock before they could upgrade to photonic torpedoes. Yeah. Here's the funny thing. So I talk about how the NX-01 Enterprise and the NX design, up until Columbia, even Columbia itself to a degree, the NX design is just horrific. It couldn't stand up to most powers. The only powers that it could stand up to is they're so brand new that they hadn't discovered warp drive or had just discovered warp drive at about the same time as Earth. The NX design got the living hell beat out of it by everybody. The Andorians had better ships. The Vulcans had better ships. One-off species we meet ever so often had better ships. Orions had better ships. Everybody had better ships. The NX was a horrific design when you look at it from the Alpha Quadrant standpoint. Now, was it a good design for humans? Was it the pinnacle of humanity? Sure. And that's great, but it doesn't really mean... So if you have a tribe of people that discover going from making a bow to making a composite bow, that's an awesome thing. They have really one-upped themselves and have now done the pinnacle. Doesn't do much against a machine gun. A composite bow will lose every time to machine gun. And so that is exactly why the NX does it too. I don't understand why people get so upset. It is a bad design compared to everything else in the Alpha Quadrant. Doesn't mean I don't like it. Now, I personally have issues with it because I think they copied off the Acura design and they were lazy. But, I don't hate the ship. It's just fact is fact. Don't at me about this either. I'd love to do a video, but I don't have a camera, but maybe I'll use my phone. I'll watch any video you do, Justice, or if you just want to send it to me. So when I said do a video, I meant if you want to put a video together similar to what you see on YouTube, like you want to do your own channel. But yeah, man, I'll watch whatever you put up. But if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to do a channel, then just send me james@lorereloaded.com. I'll take a look at your thoughts on it. I'd be interested. I'd be curious. The reason Cordon burned wasn't just because the ship warped into it, was because their antimatter explosion hit a planet and ignited a major vein of... Yeah, it destroyed the dilithium. I think you say that in it. Now, we didn't watch all of it, so they didn't see that part. So that may be why it's confusing. No offense, Lore, but if my race has been in space over 100 years longer than yours, then mine will be better. Yes! Yes, I agree. I agree that there are multiple reasons why every other species has superior vessels than the humans do. I agree there's a reason. But do you want to know the thing here? They're still superior vessels. Lore, don't hate the grappling hook. Oh my God. It makes sense, and it's good for the series and the episode with what they're trying to do, but having it in Star Trek Online, that just blew my brain. Why have the Andorians been notably absent in Voyager, DS9, and TNG, and they've only made a cameo in the 4th Star Trek movie? I would say prosthetics can be a beast to do, and it's easier just to show humans, if I had to guess. What was the reason in canon? We just don't see them. We don't see their part in the story. I'm sure they have a lot to do with it. We don't see their contribution, if that makes any sense. All right, we're going to be ending it soon. You guys have any more questions? If anyone wants to see some Earth nukes in action, Commander Calkins came up with a cool shot in our Apocalypse video. Yeah, we'll have to take a look at that. Vulcans try to use the NX-01 Enterprise and say humans aren't ready if left early, next over 100. Sure, the Vulcans held them back and didn't assist with technology. Agreed. And they have Andorians in the Romulan War, which is something even DS9 can't say. Ships in TAC are only as good as the people using it. Yeah, I always enjoy doing these. I hate that sometimes I do them at the same time as other people. I try to kind of go around that, but you know how it goes. What lore do you plan to cover in the future? I mean, a lot. I got to finish the Zindi. The Dominion War will be finishing up fairly shortly. I'm starting to do breakdowns of individual episodes, and I'm trying to expand. I don't know. We'll just have to see where it goes. I actually love the fact that humanity went over into the stars, ill-prepared with expectations of Gene's dream, only to face the harsh reality. Yeah, I'm not saying it's not an interesting story and that they didn't tell something interestingly. Could a lone Borg cube survive in the Expanse? I don't know. By itself, probably not. Let's see. I've heard people say something Federation Worlds line and Dory had militia, and I was wondering what you thought of this. I've heard people say some Federation worlds, like Andoria, have militia. Maybe. We don't have a lot of... Like, they would still have their ships for defense, so could they still have a militia? I don't know. Have a good insert relevant time period here, everybody, and check out the latest TOS review by me and the Vile Child, says Vile Mike. Well, everyone should do that. They should also check that out. So let me see. Where are you, Vile Mike? I know I'm subscribed, but I don't know if I can easily pick you up. Is that you? There it is. Oh, yeah. I haven't seen this one yet. Apparently, you had a lot of microphone issues, though. You should have redone it. You will see me break down the Watchmen. I'm going to do that. I'm going to break down the new Watchmen series. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot more Macross Robotech, so stay tuned for that. Unfortunately, I like being able to feed my kids, so I have to hit certain standards before I can do that. But I will definitely be doing that. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Check out Vile Mike as well as the Romulan War. Definitely the Romulan War. Well, definitely both. But the Romulan War, they got some really cool ideas. And Vile Mike's always fun to watch, too. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you on the next Lore Reloaded.